Being that there are no other players in the game, Neku finds himself in a dilemma. Without a partner, he cannot fight the noise, and if you cannot fight the noise, you will die. When entered in a fight at this stage of the game, you cannot fight back. I forgot that there was an escape function in the pause menu and was confused about what to do in a situation where noise was attacking me and I couldn't attack back. Nonetheless, I ran with my tail between my legs whenever I remembered the escape button in the pause menu, and I went to the dog statue to look for help from anyone. Luckily, Beat defected from the Reapers and became my partner. Let's talk about his gameplay. To use Beat, you have to click and drag the mouse in circles just like you do using the fire pin. His group attack, which consists of a card deck, is probably my favorite out of all the 3 group attacks, as you have to take cards out of his deck to match suites of the deck. He is kind of a mixed bag when it comes to gameplay. Like Shiki, his group attack is easy to implement, however, controlling him in a normal battle is hard like Joshua. He deals a decent amount of damage. I would say that he's a mix between our 2 previous partners. He's hard to use like Joshua, but he also has an easy group attack like Shiki. Oh, 777, you will be missed. I feel like everyone's just gonna die at the end of this game. We discover that Beat defecting from the Reapers will destroy the underground. Am I understanding this correctly? Why would the underground be of trouble if Beat defects? I'm not really sure where this will take us, but hopefully it gets explained later. The rest of the day is basically Beat and Neku chase the main boss, Miss Mitsuki, the robot lady, throughout town, but they can't seem to catch her. She contacts our 2 main Reapers, Lollipop and Pink Hair, and give them a mission to stall our protagonists. Poor Beat doesn't know what Reaper Sports 4 was. Neku can clearly see this, but he wants to trust his partner. We chase after an executive who has relied too much on Reaper Creeper and is confronted by Mick, which is the guy who was very low in his company and then he gained confidence, or we did something for him and then now he's at the top of a company and now he's back to being sucky at his company because of the ramen thing. Turns out he got fired from his job and has no idea what to do. He asks his former boss for advice. When we are given the choice to become a Reaper Creeper, potentially completing the mission of the day and getting Rhyme back, I decided not to intervene. It came out with a better outcome for both the boss and the former employee. The boss finally made a decision on his own and actually gave Mick good advice. It made the boss trust himself more and not rely on superstition that he's been doing throughout this whole game. This was such a good decision, in fact, that Beat was rooting him on, despite his want to get Rhyme back. Beat finally admits he doesn't know what the mission is. However, Neku is not frustrated with him. He is sympathetic and shows Beat that he will do everything in his power to help him get his sister back. Yes, Beat and Rhyme are siblings. How did I not see this? As long as they're both honest with each other, they can both get their loved ones back. I really like this development for Neku because clearly Neku at the beginning of the game wouldn't have done something like this. And I'll talk more about that in the conclusion of this review. But definitely Neku's arc throughout these 3 weeks has been really well crafted. Finally, we get to beat the snot out of Pinky. I've disliked her for most of the game, so it was fun to finally have her as a boss. Sadly, I can only beat her on easy. I think I need to change my strategy and have a cure item on me. I go into battles thinking the best defense is offense, but with the game being on an app and me playing it on my PC, I can't really utilize the way it should be played. If I ever do replay this game, I will play it on my tablet and take my time with it. Explore all the different pins one can use and see all the side missions I can do. Because I know I've missed a lot of side missions. For now though, I'm gonna speed through the story because I really want to see how it ends. I like that the 2 Reapers had a moment together. Pinky only wanted a promotion because she felt she was holding her partner back, the guy with the lollipop. And when he told her he didn't care about those things and would rather hang out with her in the field, it melted my heart a bit. I always liked their dynamic, and this scene made me like their relationship even more. Also, that tag burn from Neku made me laugh out loud, and Beat's reaction to his real name was super funny. I really love this game. It has a lot of personality and style with it. And the characters just like, they're not characters, you feel like they're real people, you know? Like Beat is like, my name is Beat, because he's so embarrassed by his actual name, which I find like that's such a teenage thing to do, you know? Indelible. Making a mark not easily erased or washed away. Unable to be forgotten. Memorable. The character of Beat explores the other side of dreams. Shiki had the dream of becoming a seamstress, and Joshua had the goal of finding and defeating the composer. Beat, on the other hand, didn't have a dream coming into the underground. He had no passion in life and felt he was becoming a burden to those around him, especially to his little sister Rhyme. The result of that being the fight he had with his parents, being the day he died with his sister, who may never remember him, even if she is saved. While some of us may have dreams, I know people that don't. They struggle in life and they feel like they're aimless. But even if these people don't have dreams, we should all be like Rhyme and encourage them to find their passion. We should treasure these people even if they think they are lost, because we know we would be lost without them. Just like how Rhyme is lost without Beat in her life. Everyone seems to be reflecting on how Shibuya used to be and how quiet it's been recently. Whenever we try and read people's thoughts now, everyone is saying the same thing. To right the countless wrongs of our day, we shine this light of true redemption, that this place may become paradise. What a wonderful world such would be. Now the Japanese title of this game makes sense. Roll credits? No, we are not rolling credits. We are finishing this game! Even the Reapers seem to be saying the same thing. As we fight the berserk versions of Pinky and Lollipop, the theme of the story is starting to become more and more clear to me. The first time we fight the two, we hear lines of theirs during the battle. Pinky wants to get a promotion, so when she attacks someone, she states that
I smell a promotion!
When Lollipop uses a certain bomb attack, he states,
ready to clock out?
As in, he wants to clock out of work because of his lazy demeanor. Even as bosses, these two have personality, and these quirks signal when I have to dodge their attacks. So you would imagine how much harder it was to fight them without them saying these lines. In their berserk states, all they do is grunt, and I can't predict what moves they will make. I couldn't understand them when they were more similar in nature. Shibuya harmonizing actually made it harder for me to fight them as bosses. And I know there's a lot of like plot stuff going on right now, but I wanted to ignore that and focus on the themes and the lessons of the story, because the plot kind of doesn't have a big emphasis in this game. It's kind of like random and it's not really well written, to be honest, but it's the themes and the messages and the game design that make this game truly what it is. And I'll describe that more in the conclusion. The math boy is back! I don't even care that he's evil, he's back! Anyways, now that it's being hinted that Hanekoma, Mr. H, whatever his name is the composer, I don't think this is the case. They did the same thing with Joshua, and it turned out he didn't kill Neku. My theory now was that he was the composer before someone overthrew him. It would explain why he knows so much about the game, why his designs are used in the player's pins, and why he would be helping Joshua. Maybe the game used to be something that the Reapers could be proud of, giving a select group of people the ability to appreciate life and have a second chance at it. Not only doing that, but helping people in the real ground fulfill their goals and fixing misunderstandings between them, like by defeating the noise, as we have been doing throughout this entire game. But then someone associated with the advertising agency that Mick was a part of discovered the underground and how Reapers and players alike could manipulate minds within this plane of existence. This person overthrows Mr. H and begins his plot to sell his products with no advertising required. I know, like, this isn't true, but I wrote this before I knew the entire story. I'll see, we'll explain it later. It's so creepy seeing everyone standing still, thinking and saying the same thing. Neku says exactly what the player is thinking. Shibuya's solidifying? But this town's supposed to be about conflict. I know that now. I was afraid to clash, afraid to change. I didn't want to hear it. But Mr. H woke me up. And this is not Shibuya. It's like, really good writing. Now we're finally headed to the last day. I barely explained the pot or the boss of the cheetah lady. I don't remember if it's day 6 or 7, but it's almost done. Let's do this. Immediately after finishing the game, I was confused. Joshua was the composer? Who's Mr. H? How did the Reaper get revived? I had a lot of questions that weren't answered. I was happy that Neku and the others were safe and back in the real ground, but was this really how the story ended? The game showed me the extra stuff, the alternate another day where Neku loves the pin smash game. It showed me that I could replay the previous days and that there were special missions I had to complete each day to find the secret reports. I decided to take a break from the game. Obviously, you can see by how late this video came out. I wasn't understanding why the game ended this way. So I decided to replay the game on my tablet. As I started to replay the game on my tablet, I realized something. This story wasn't about the identity of the composer or who Mr. H was or the intricacies and world building of the underground. This was a story about our main character, Neku Sakuraba, an introvert who at the start of this game hated the world, and yet throughout the weeks and throughout the partners he had to have and through all his experiences, learning that having differences are okay, that having friends can make your world bigger, and that being alive is the biggest gift one could take for granted. There's even a sequence at the end when he defeats the final boss, where Neku remembers the most important things Shiki, Joshua, and Beat declare to him.
Let me in! Tell me what you're thinking!
Only by allowing strangers in can we find new ways to be ourselves.
I'm scared! Scared of getting a second chance!
Listen up, Phones, because I ain't asking twice. Please, help me. You gotta help me save her.
Neku, that's the first time you used my
But
name.
Neku, I thought you couldn't afford to lose. Give up on yourself, and you give up on the world.
You ain't my partner anymore, man. You're my friend.
Once you see the real me, will we still be friends?
I'm glad I met you guys. You made me pick up on things I probably would have just gone on ignoring.
I know for a fact that the Neku we knew at the start of the game would have shot Joshua at the end of the game if he had the choice. But it's the Neku we get that sacrifices his life for another, even if that person betrayed them. And even if Joshua and Mr. H weren't always on our side, they must have been good, right? Because everyone came back to the real ground at the end. Okay, so this is going off script right now. Obviously it's been months since I posted the last part in this series, and that's because I just kind of wanted to come to grips with my thoughts and feelings on the game and why it ended the way it did. I also learned a lot more about the game just from doing research and like watching videos, and even some of my comments in my last video. Really, this one of the commenters, they explained it really well to me, and so I kind of understand the game a little bit more, and how like and apparently this is a lot to do with the secret reports, and the problem is I haven't unlocked the secret reports, and that was like the biggest part of like the lore and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna explain the lore real quick, and that's the dilemma at the beginning of the game is that Joshua, as the composer, is like he's done with humanity or his section that he's in charge of or whatever. He doesn't like people betraying each other. Everybody's mean and ugly, and so his second in command, the guy with the headphones on his shoulders, he's like, "Oh, I don't want to die, so maybe let's play a game of our own, and then that way we have a fighting chance." Like he was actually trying to save everybody in Shibuya from Joshua's whims. And Joshua's like, "Okay, I'll choose my own person and he'll play against you." I don't really get that part, but basically Joshua found like the most angsty teenager who hates life in the entire city, and that person happened to be Joshua, and Joshua was actually the one who killed Neku so that he can have him as his player. Like that's the person representing him. And then at the end of the game, Joshua, like, because during his time with Joshua was always poking at him, and like he's trying to like, because like I said in the last part, Shiki opened him up to the world, but Joshua was the one that was like poking his ideals and poking his mindset and was like, really? But you used to be like this. Why are you like this now? Why have you changed? And then Nick, who explains to him why he's changed and why it's important to have people in your life and why it's important to listen to others and to be in conflict with others, and that it's okay to have conflict with others. And so it kind of showed Joshua that even the most reluctant person in the city that he found, even the most like negative, like I want to be myself introvert person, even if he could change, then the city could change as well. And then that's why everybody lives in the end, because Joshua is like, man, I lost this bet. His bet was that this kid wouldn't change, and he did. I'm like still confused about some parts, but I do get like the general idea of why what happened. Like when I finished the game, I had no idea that Joshua chose Neku as his person or that he had a game. Like people had to explain this to me. I was really confused. But like I said earlier, this game isn't about the plot or who the composer is or like all these mysteries that usually stories are about. This is like a different type. It's like using allegory to convey a message, and that message being we need to interact with others to live. Shiki being jealous and Joshua losing faith in humanity, and Beat like not sure of himself and not having a goal and relying too much on his sister. You know, these traits are, it's okay to have them as long as you can grow past them. And then our main character, of course, he's the one who changes the most out of all of them because he interacts with them, because he has conflict with them, as he says in the last line in the last day. Like we never find out why Neku became the way he was. We never find out why he's an introvert and why he hates people. But there are people like that. I know people like that. I know people like Beat and Rhyme and Shiki and Joshua. It's a very human story. It's written badly, like the plot twist is bad. I'm not saying it's not bad, but I can appreciate it for the story it's trying to tell. I just wanted to explain why I didn't talk so much about the plot, like when Shiki came back, or like, you know, that Joshua was the composer or whatever, or that Mr. H is an angel or something. I don't really care about this stuff. That game is not about that stuff. It's about the characters and how they've changed over the course of the story. And yeah, that's the end of my rant. I really can't believe how attached to this game I became. It's a story I love, and it's really well written, even if the plot kerfunkles at the end. And when I replay on my tablet, I'll learn more about it, and I'll do all the secret stuff, and I'll try and read all the secret reports, and I'll try and understand the plot a little bit better. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me. These videos didn't really get a lot of views until I shared them on Discord, on a couple of gaming Discord servers, and then a lot of people started to like explain their opinions on the games, and I think that's why I started to like it so much, and why like I didn't make this video as fast as I should have, because I started like getting comments about people's different views on the game, and like the actual like the Joshua plotline especially was, a lot of people had different opinions about it, and I thought that was interesting because it's like you can see this game in many different lights, but its main message still came across. And I really liked interacting with those people. And I think like the comments are my favorite part of making these videos. I love to see different people's opinions on it. Like even in my Gintama video, which has the most views out of all the videos I have, people were like pointing out inconsistencies that I have. And I was like, oh crap, I didn't put that in my video. I thought I researched it well. Like I know the story well, but even then you make mistakes, and that's okay. And like this game kind of made me love the comments, but this game also explains why I love the comments. Like I love conflict. I love discussing things with people. I always wanted to make videos just to, like, have my opinion out there, because I thought like nobody has my opinion, right? But no, people do have my opinion. People like my videos and they comment, and then they also have their own version of my opinion, which is not to say that like my opinion is like the top of the thing, but my opinion is generalized, and then it can be delved into with more discussion. It was so serendipitous how when I was playing this game, I was discovering how great the comment section on YouTube is. Please comment on this video and let me know if you think my take is trash, or like you have a different opinion, or if you actually like the writing of the plot twist and the ending with Joshua, because like I personally did not like it. Tell me your opinion. Let me know what it is, and let's have a discussion about this game. Until then, I'll see you guys next time in The World Begins With You.